Oh, no way.
There we go. This is Big D and Shade from TacoYaki Anime.
Yo!
And welcome back. It's been quite a bit of some time,
Indeed.
but we have returned. We are back for our monthly catch-up number 50. Today we're going to be talking about the spring anime of 2019, our initial thoughts on this season.
It's been a very interesting season, that's for sure.
Yeah. The last couple seasons have been very hype. Well, actually, no. What was it? The last season of last year was very hype. Then this season, last season was okay. There was like a few shows that were exciting.
It had a few really good stellar shows, and then the rest were just kind of like, eh.
Yeah. So this was actually kind of a breath of fresh air. There are some returning shows, sequels that are very big, but there are actually a bunch of brand new shows that are interesting, and look forward to getting back to those. I have an interesting thing to bring up. So, did you know that half of the anime is on Hulu?
Really?
Yeah. So before, Crunchyroll and Funimation were dating and everything, and Sony came in and was like, "Funimation, how dare you go with Crunchyroll? I have a business partner, and we're gonna go, and I'm gonna betroth you to Hulu." So half of the shows are on Hulu now.
Oh, that sucks so much.
It used to be, that Amazon took a bunch of the shows, but it's no longer the case. It's still fragmented like it used to be, as far as having like 8 different platforms that we had to cover, but it's fragmented slightly different now. So, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Interesting turn of events.
For sure.
But yeah. So today we have 10 shows to talk about. And the first show we're going to be talking about is Bokutachi wa Benkyou Dekinai, or We Never Learn. This is a show that I watched on Crunchyroll. It is a show about these prodigies, these like genius level students who are very strong in one subject and one subject only, and they're terrible at everything else. So far, we've only met the two girls that are the blue-haired girl and the orange-haired girl, and the main guy. And one is super smart with math, and one is a like literary genius. And the main guy, he's like kind of like in Naruto, where you had like everybody had all these like talents that were like given to them by blood by their parents, and then you had like Lee, who was like, "Oh, sorry, you ain't got nothing going on, but if you work really, 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 really hard, then you can be a prodigy too." So the main guy is basically like that. He studies his butt off, and he's aiming to get in. He's either get. I just watched it yesterday. He's aiming to get something. I can't remember if there's like a specific program that he's trying to get into, or a specific school, or a specific award. I can't remember which one of those three.
It's in the description. It says his ultimate goal is to obtain the special VIP nomination, a prestigious scholarship covering all future university tuition fees.
There you go. Yes.
Okay.
I don't think we read this one last time, so I don't remember it. And I go for trailers. So, yeah. So he's trying to aim for that, and he's kind of proven himself. The principal brings him in, And he's like, so I see you've been working very, very hard for that. He doesn't say, congratulations, you won. He's like, you will get the nomination under one under one condition. And kind of just like, I feel like he should have like paused and be like, congratulations, you won. But he kind of just said it all in one sentence. You're like, you can get the thing if you can get these other girls into college. I'm like, okay.
Why is it his responsibility to get the other girls into college? The teacher just like, you know what? As the principal, like, you know what? These girls have been an annoying pain in my side. I'm going to make them an annoying pain in your side so you can get them to hell off of my case. That's messed up.
Yes. So basically, a bunch, like many teachers have tried very hard to get them to learn other things, and they all gave up. So I guess there's something that he sees in him, or
now
something.
Going to force a student who all he wants to do is just get into a good college on a scholarship to do it for me. Wow. What a principal.
So yeah, I don't know if it's something that he just sees in him. He's like, oh, you have some real drive, or what? I think he's trying to just push the responsibility. Yeah. I'm pretty sure like that school, if they're getting funding or something like that, like those two like probably those five prodigy girls, I'm assuming, are like the school's reputation. And they can't have all five of those girls just fail to get into college. So I see why the principal might be desperate, but it does suck. So
she's like, I'm trying to study myself. Why do you want to push that onto me? And five. It would be different if it was like maybe like one or two, but five?
I'm assuming the other five girls are part of it too. Like maybe he starts making progress with them. And he's like, oh, I didn't think you were going to be able to help these two. Here's three more. Like, I don't, maybe that happens in episode 2 or 3 or whatever.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So I feel really bad for him. Like,
I haven't even watched it and I feel bad for him already. Jeez.
So, yeah. So just like a lot of things go when you have somebody who has to tutor someone. They go through the first study session and it just bombs like crazy. He like switches, like gives them a test of what they need to improve on, and they skip over the whole teaching part, and then he's like, oh, she got a 5 out of 100 and a 2 out of 100. Okay, let's try this different way. And does another study session. It helps him. It comes back the next day. Cool. She has a 4. She has a 3. Try this again. So throughout the whole week, he tries to teach them, and it's just not working. And they basically are just giving up. They're like, we can't do it. I don't know. Blah blah blah. I don't know. And then they like run off, and they're so flustered that they leave their study notebooks behind. And he just takes them. I don't know why, but when he gets home, he looks through them. And me in my head, I'm like, as he's going through the week, like every day failing over and over, and I'm like, no, you're doing it wrong. You have to figure out how they learn. Like, even though they can't explain how they learn, you have to
try to figure it out.
Yeah, try to get them to explain at least a little bit that's happening in like the little bit that they can verbalize about what's going on in their head. Like, you have to figure out what's their thing, and then reverse engineer that so you can re-engineer it for a different subject. So I was like, you're doing it wrong. And then after he went through their notebooks, he's like, oh, this is why they're doing blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, he basically got a cheat sheet. And I'm like, cool. Try this again. And then he goes and he gives them the books back, and he kind of like sees them outside of school and like what they do in their spare time when they're not studying and stuff like that. And he starts getting like a little bit close with each of them. And then the next day, he's like, okay, cool. Let's try this again. And I have a better way to teach it. Here's your 2 books. And they take the test and fail again really bad. But he spins it away. He's like, cool. Like, he starts remembering, like there was a flashback earlier where his, like the reason why he has such drive and willpower to improve is because his father, I don't know if it's his late father, but it's his father. He gave him advice of, like, be happy for what you have, and even though you failed, that's that much room for you to grow and improve. Yes. Mm-hmm. So he just used that phrase and spun it around in different ways to the 2 girls, and one of them was like, "Ah, yes!" He got all pumped, just like he did when he was younger. So it was kind of like one of those moments where he's like, well, I didn't understand what my dad said back then, but now I get it. And I'm like, okay, this is a cool show. I really like this. So,
well, considering it's 1 dude and 5 girls, this definitely seems like it's going to be a harem-esque type situation going on.
Yeah, 100%.
Are they? I know you just watched the first episode, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, have they already tried to like start shoehorning in like relationship things going on, or?
They kind of like when they were studying before. Oh, okay. So the first set of studying, they were like, I don't know, in the like foyer or like out in the, what is that? It's not foyer. It's the it's like the area of the, like if the building had like a hole cut in the roof and there's like a garden in there. It's like a big open area inside. I get you. Yeah,
let's go with it.
Yeah, they're in there, and they were studying. And after the whole like epiphany of how to teach them, then they started studying in the library. And this time, instead of being across from both of them, he's like in between both of them on the same side of the table. And one of them is like studying and falling asleep and like leans her head on him. And he's all like, ugh! And then the other girl, she's like, oh, what about this and all that kind of stuff? And like her boob brushes against him and he starts freaking out. So far, that's as far as they go. I think the show's going to be innocent, but...
I mean, come on. How far can a harem anime really be innocent? I mean, come on. We all know.
So, yeah, as of now, I've only watched 1 episode. And I don't really know, like, which characters I like the best. The blue-haired, like, literature girl, she seems cuter than the other orange-haired girl, but she's ditzy. Like she'll be smiling and you're like, there's nothing going on inside of your head, is there? Like, you just space out and you can just see like the poof. You're like, whoa. Hey. So I'm like,
interesting way to describe. Oh jeez.
So I'm like, I don't know. She kind of like floats off in La La Land every now and then.
So the other ones they've introduced are the blue-haired and the orange or the pink?
Orange with the red jacket.
Okay, those are the two. Okay.
Yeah, and like the orange hair girl, she's not my favorite style of character, but she's like
better than.
Well, like she's blunt and to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Even if she's like like a weirdly aggressive, not like mean and like provoking type of aggressive. She's just like super. she just says what's on her mind, and it can't be thought of as aggressive. And then once you like,
so basically, she has no like, what's that? Like the social network of people where they like, you realize you probably shouldn't say something just because it's gonna come off as being, even though it's true. You're like, I really shouldn't say that because then that's gonna be, someone's gonna get hurt by that. But she doesn't even have that little voice. She's just like, whatever happens, happens, kind of thing.
I think that she does have like social cues. Like she does pick up on something. It's more like she was playing this mathematical card game, and when the guy like outside of school, when the guy came up to her, and then he's like, she's like, oh, I'm playing a game that's for 10 people, but I'm playing all 10 people myself. And then he's like, whoa, can I join in? And then she's like, what? Do you think you can beat me? And then he wins 20 games in a row. And then she's like, that's why I said, do you think you can beat me? And I'm like, what? Why did you say it that way? Why were you so aggressive? Like, it's weird. So she's like that type of, like, she'll just say something in a weird way. And you're like, okay. Because, like, some people, it's like, if you're like, oh, do you think you can beat me? Like, they're back off and like, okay, or whatever.
So it's not so much the social cues as it is the tone.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, yeah, the show's pretty interesting. I like how it's going so far. I'm pretty sure it's gonna stay innocent until all the other girls, like, I don't know. Like, I've only seen the first episode, so I can't really tell what's gonna happen.
Just from what you're describing, I have a prediction. Just the fact that it probably will stay innocent to a point where, one, all the female characters have to be there, and two, they actually have to be showing improvement. Like, all of them are actually starting to go in the right direction, and that's when the feelings are going to start popping. I bet you.
Okay.
I see that.
Like, maybe when they realize that they're having so much fun now, and then now
he's helping and we're doing better and everything's great, and then they're like, wow, he's so great at what he does, and then the feelings start to progress from there.
Yeah, and they're like, we're going to be going to college soon, so I'll never see him again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I like it. I really do. If you're into, like, I don't know, slice of life with hints of romance and interesting characters, then I'd also recommend this. What was it? Let's see. Yeah. The next show we're going to be talking about is Fairy Gun.
The one I'd been interested to see what was going on. Where did you watch? Did you watch this one on Hulu?
Or fairly boring show that I fell asleep 5 minutes into.
Oh, wow.
Because
really,
I don't. Man, there was a lot of talking, and I wasn't in the mood for talking. I was
where did you watch this on?
Yeah, this is on Hulu.
It's on Hulu? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even say anything about it because I barely watched it. I was hoping that you were watching it, but I knew it was on Hulu, so there was a small chance of you not knowing.
Yeah. That's a little disappointing because this is PA Works now.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
PA Works has done some
gorgeous, but everybody
amazing things.
Yeah, it probably looked really good. It's just they just kept talking and talking and talking, and I was asleep. Yeah, I might give it another shot. I was trying to fit it back in, but it's like I already got a little sample of that show, and I looked at what else was there, and I'm like, yeah, you kind of struck out. Let me go see what all this other stuff is.
Well, and I mean, just looking at, I just clicked on PA Works. I was like, I know they've done other series that have been like really good story elements, or at least I thought they had. And then even then, I just clicked on it, and apparently, Fairy Gone is getting a second season this year.
Maybe
already.
It gets good after 5 minutes. I don't.
I mean, fall 2019. It says second season for this, or second core.
Yeah, like PA Works is one of my absolute favorite series. I was excited to see like a show that may be dark from them. A lot of the show I reference the shows that I love from them all the time. So it's I was kind of, I don't know. Maybe I was real tired. I don't know, but they were talking a lot, and I'm like, oh no.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of surprising. Faragon, I mean, PA Works has had some really good stuff, and the trailer looked really good for it.
Yeah.
A lot of action sequences, character development, it looked like.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to get to the action. Just hold on. We need to explain a couple things. And I'm like,
now that I'm kind of looking at it, I don't know if I noticed it before. Is that like a CG in that?
I wouldn't be surprised nowadays. I haven't. Okay.
The character looks a little weird. That's all I'm thinking. Like, it's not like blunt CG. That's the type that I really just despise. Is that just blunt CG animation? But it's enough to where you're looking at it going, is that CG? Kinda. Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. So, go over there and see if you can get past the first 5 minutes.
Hulu, good lord. Damn it! Wait. Does isn't there that one VRV? Does it have Verve? Does it have Hulu on there?
I don't think.
I've been considering getting Verve instead of Crunchyroll.
So you got Funimation too and stuff like that. Yeah, it's Funimation. So I'm not sure if you could watch the subtitled version on Funimation. I think they're doing like they did with Crunchyroll, where the subs aren't on Crunchyroll. The subs are on the subs won't be on Funimation. They'll be on whatever partner they have. And then the weird thing is like for the first couple weeks of the season, the shows were on Hulu and not on Crunchyroll at all. And then all of a sudden, when I checked yesterday, a bunch of the shows were on Crunchyroll. So I don't know if that was like a weird 3-week embargo where they're like, no, let everybody start watching it on Hulu, so then they won't know that it's on. I don't know. It's weird. That's the weirdest. I don't know the pattern yet because it's brand new, but it's weird. I don't like it. So I'm like, if you're gonna have it on Crunchyroll, then just put it on Crunchyroll day one. Quit being silly.
Yeah.
Being mean to your ex, Funimation. I think it's Sony's fault. You know what? I blame Sony.
Blame Sony?
Yeah. But yeah, next show we're going to be talking about is Fruits Basket.
Oh. Yes.
So.
I think I'm up to episode 5, I want to say.
I have watched one episode.
So it has been a very, very long time since I saw the original.
I have never seen the original.
I remember I watched it. That's about as much as I remember from it is that I watched it. But as I've been watching this one, it seems to like my memory is kind of like jogging and being like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." And I remember that. But then certain things I'm like, "Did that happen?" I don't I mean, it's still cool and all, but all right. Um yeah, I mean, I guess to me it's just like a recreation of the original, just looks better.
Hmm.
I mean, that's all I could say. It's not bad. It's
Uh-huh.
just like, have you never watched the original? Here you go. This
Okay.
is now more of a modern, everyday version of it. This is what I look at it as.
Okay.
So,
Uh, so as far as the characters go, do you like do you have a favorite character already or
um, trying to think here. Good lord. Ah. Anyways, do I have a favorite character already?
did you turn your roommate into a cat?
Maybe. Um, the so I can't remember his the no, he's not. Is he the dog? I think he's the dog.
Mhm.
I like him. I think he's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Okay.
Um, but that's just because he's more of like the laid back character. Like
Uh,
he's not the main focus above all. The main focus is between the mouse and the cat dude.
yeah.
That's like the main focus. So, but beyond that, I mean, yeah, it's again, it looks great. I mean, who's the one who did it again?
Ooh.
Who did this? Mm, TMS Entertainment.
Ah, that's one of those. That's one of the big studios.
Is it?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they
Right.
were the one who did the original.
Really? That's kind of interesting. I see. Well, they've done a lot of stylized things, so did they do the original? No, I'm just curious.
Wait. Oh no, Studio Dean did the original.
I was about to say that didn't seem like them, but can you? Thank you. Um,
Okay.
yeah, no, again, I don't necessarily see anything wrong with it. It's not like the most amazing show above all else.
Uh,
It's not like winning awards for me. I don't the characters aren't like, oh my god, they're stellar. That's why when you asked me who my favorite one was, I was like, eh. Um, a lot of it I feel like is I guess because they pull from the old version to this one.
mm,
I feel like there's just a lot of tropes and just a lot of just like, well, now we know this is gonna happen, and then this is gonna happen, and it's nothing amazing. It's just it is what it is, kind of thing.
okay.
That's kind of the way I feel about it. So
Um, let's see. As far as all the characters, I actually I like almost every character that I've seen because for some reason they've like sprinkled like very interesting personality to like every single character.
yeah,
Like even like there was a couple scenes where they were cooking and like her little group of three, like the two little sidekicks that were with her, like one of them would talk, and I'm like, oh, okay. I see how you're like talking about like they're kind of tropey, where they fit
mm-mm.
in like a certain mold.
Yep.
So yeah, I feel like it's like well flavored tropes. Like, this isn't just chocolate. This is like very smooth chocolate from like Switzerland or something like that.
I mean, it's like I said, it's not bad, but it's not.
Yeah.
We're not adding anything new to the anime genre.
Yeah.
We're not like breaking
You
the
just-
mold.
Yeah, you're just doing the mold as well as it can be done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're just sitting here going like, hey, this is, you're not like you're very well refined chocolate, but at the end of the day, you're still chocolate.
Okay. I understand that.
So that's why I said I don't hate it, but I'm not like, oh my god, kind of thing.
Okay. So as far as the story goes, I've only seen the first episode, so I remember that she's technically homeless because what happened with her parents?
So her mother died. I don't think they really explained anything about the father, but the mother died, and she went to go live with her grandfather or uncle.
Oh, okay. I was thinking
grandfather.
uncle, but
Yeah, it's probably
yeah.
uncle. And then the uncle apparently had some house renovations that were going to happen.
Yeah.
So then asked if she could live with a friend for a couple of weeks or a month or so.
She's like, I totally have friends.
Yeah, well, she does. She does have friends. It's just that she doesn't want to impose on them.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's more like she like one of her friends has a really large family and a really small house. So she knows that even though if she'd asked her friend if she could stay with her, she would have been like, oh yeah, sure, but it would have been a hassle. It would have been more complicated. And then another one of her friends, like something else was going on, and so basically she decided that she's going to eventually, once she graduates and goes to college, she's going to be living on her own and taking care of herself anyways. So her idea was, well, why don't I just go ahead and start trying to do that now?
Okay.
So that's why she did what she did, which was go camping essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, she has a great personality and her heart's in the right place. You just kind of look at some certain things and you're like, that's really stupid. You shouldn't have done that. You're like, come on, just ask somebody.
Don't take everything upon yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Rely on other people.
Yeah. And I think that's probably her most. Just because of the way her mother took care of her, I think that's the main reason why she is the way she is, because her mother basically sacrificed everything to take care of her. She realizes that, and now she doesn't want to put anyone else in that sort of situation.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why she really tries to go as far out as she can and put everyone else before her. And then just because of the situation it was in, that's the reason why they agreed to have her live with them for a while.
So do you think, I don't want to talk bad about her mom, but do you think that's kind of like a flaw that she just inherited? Because there's been other characters that have been they didn't have anybody to rely on, or they didn't have family and stuff like that, and they made friends with like the baker and the butcher and all that kind of stuff, and like they know the character's situation, so they're like, hey, I got some stuff for you, and they're like always, and I'll throw this in extra, and they're like, that character knows everybody so well that everybody's like trying to help them, and they're accepting and then also help back. So like, as far as her mom goes, do you think like maybe there's some kind of situation where she just didn't rely upon other people, and then like the main character now just inherited that?
I don't think it was really her mom was that way. I think her mom just, really cared about her and wanted her to live her life as best she could. It's almost like, okay, so I kind of feel like the main character in Fruits the Girl in Fruits Basket, her personality reminds me of the main girl from My Hero Academia.
Ochako?
Yeah,
Anti-gravity? Yeah.
yeah. She's like, I want to help my family. I want to put your, and it's because she like her mom did so much for her. She knows that. And her mom did so much for her because she wanted her to have a good life.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So her mom was putting her first, and she sees that, and now she wants to make sure that um her mom actually, or like no one else has that sort of situation. You know what I mean? That's where um that's where I feel that comes from. I don't think her mom really. It's just because of the situation it was in,
Yeah.
not because of what her mom was that way. I don't think her mom was. Her mom just worked really hard and wanted a better life for her daughter.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of
Okay.
where I look at that as.
Okay. Um, so yeah. Um, yeah, so she was camping, and hiding that fact from everybody. Um, trying to do everything herself. And she ends up coming across these guys.
Well, it's because she was camping in their land essentially.
Oh, okay.
Like that whole land was owned by them, by their family, and she didn't know that. She just saw it as a nice big open space that was convenient for her to get to school and work from.
Like, cool. I can I can walk to school from here, and there's this nice cliff and
Yeah,
nice open area. It's great. Um, yeah, so I do like, well, even though the characters fit in the tropes, they do have their like full flavor of that trope. Um, and I do like the whole quirk how some of the characters they turn into animals if they come into physical contact. Um, and I
it has
knew,
it has
hmm,
to be physical contact of the opposite gender.
okay. Um, and I've only seen the first episode, so I'm kind of curious, like what happens after she, after, yeah, like after that, like everybody turns back to normal. Like I don't know what the whole time length is and all that kind of stuff. So, if you've seen the first one, I don't know how close it is to this one, but this one's done very well.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
I'd
it
say the
is.
char- I'd say the characters are so well fleshed out that for the little bit that I've seen them,
Mhm.
I already want to know about every single character. Like all the characters seem interesting, and
See, I just feel like the two main guys, the rat and the cat, just like we were saying about the tropes and everything, I feel like they're way too far into their tropes.
okay,
That's why I don't really care much for them. It's just because they're so stereotypical. It's like almost painful kind of
okay,
thing.
hmm.
The guy who's the cat, he's the I
Hothead.
hate hothead. I hate everybody. I'm gonna just I'm ready for a fight. I gotta keep going at the rat guy, and the rat guy is like the loner of the group. Of I distance myself away from everyone, and I don't feel like anyone understands me. The mopey kind of character, and yeah, that's why I'm like, I just. So it's so stereotypical, it's painful. But that's the only reason. That would be my only complaint about it. Is just that those tropes and those molds are they refine the crap out of them, but they're still there.
Hmm.
And you could almost just you could see even within the first 2 or 3 episodes, you can already see where it's going to go down.
Okay.
So it's like she's gonna get to know them. They're gonna slowly start to break out of their mold and feel like someone who actually understands them, and eventually things are going to start to get better for them. But at some point, probably about mid 3/4 of the way through the show, something's going to happen. It's going to make things worse. We're going to fall back into that. And then, I'm just like, okay, come on. And yes, I know I've seen the original, but at the same time, I don't remember a lot. But I can almost guarantee that that's how the progression of this is going to go.
Okay.
So, it's as I've said before, this is definitely a slice of life.
Uh-huh.
Definitely a slice of life. And I'm very picky about my slice of life.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Even though it's interesting by the fact that they turn into animals when they get touched by the opposite sex or something like that, and they sort of have a little bit of control over the animals, like the rat guy. He actually has kind of, he can call upon rats and have them help him and do stuff or whatever. That's about the extent of it. So to me, I'm like, I don't know, it verges on being enough interesting things happening in a slice of life to where I can keep going with it, but at the same time, I'm almost feeling like eventually I'm gonna be like you were with Fairy Gone, and I'm be like, I'm starting to fall asleep. So.
Okay. So there was one thing I forgot. We'll go back to the other two for. So, how do you rate this show? Does it need ketchup?
Yeah. I'd say it does.
For me, I'd say it has enough, and I'm going to continue the show because I'm interested in like a lot of the side characters, like her two friends, like the one that's like the.
So just so you know,
like,
I'm on episode 5,
yes.
and her two friends have not shown up again.
Oh no!
Yeah. I'm on episode 5, and the cliffhanger for this episode on episode 5 is that the renovations have already been completed. And her grandfather's calling her going, "You can move back now." That's the extent of it. I'm like, the whole episodes 2, 3, and 4, like one episode was based upon the rat guy, one episode based on the cat guy, and one episode was based upon a female that came in to visit the cat dude. That was it. And so far, she only had one episode and then was gone. And I think she was the boar? Yeah. I think she was the boar. But that's it. That's literally, it's like we get like one episode, that's it. One episode, that's it. One episode, that's it. because okay, so here's the problem. This is based upon an old anime series. The original Fruit Basket came out like what? Late 1990s?
Yeah.
So if their only thing that they're doing is updating the way it looks, and they're not really changing a whole lot on the actual storyline, way things were going, then you remember how animes were back in the 1990s. It was episodic, and it was because this was like next week's episode. Like, it's like Dragon Ball Z. Next week's episode, then we do this. Next week's episode, then we do this. It was like things began and ended every week in one episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is what's going to happen. So.
Okay, at least that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
It was towards my, like, there's a couple other shows that were like tied with it, but now I don't know.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's where I'm coming from with this. So I don't know if you really want to put forth the effort on it. I think that this is going to be one, like, once I get done with all my other anime, if I have time and I want to watch something, I might watch this. but it's not the top of my list
Okay.
for sure. That's why I feel like if it needs more catch up, because it's just we're not doing anything different. I feel like it's rehashing the same old thing. It's bringing back, I want to say, a classic, because this is classic anime right here.
Yeah.
You know, when people say, "Hey, do you watch anime?" A lot of times, 50-50 shot, this is going to be one of the ones that someone's watched.
Yeah, if they've been in the game for like decades, then yeah.
Yeah.
Because I haven't even watched the show, and I know the premise and the title. Like as soon as it said Fruits Basket, I'm like, wait a minute, where have I heard that before?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that one show that so and so remember that so and so watched? I'm like, yeah, it's yeah, the show has history to it. So,
Yeah.
dang. Oh well.
I mean, at first, okay, so for me, I think the main reason I don't want to continue or necessarily have it on top of my list is because I've already seen it. I know generally what's going to happen, so nothing's going to surprise me. Nothing's going to be new. It's just it's same old, same old. For you, since you haven't seen the original, this might be a good opportunity to actually watch it, I would say. So I'm not saying don't watch it. I'm just saying for me, for you, I would probably go with it.
Yeah.
Just because one, you haven't seen the original, and two, you're more of the character-driven type anime and slice of life. You know, you watch the freaking I'm gonna go and camp on Mount Fuji anime. So something like this, I feel like is just enough flavor and spice in it to where it will probably keep your attention.
Okay.
But for me, it's really challenging at this point in my anime watching. I don't want to say career journey. Yeah, there we go. And my anime watching journey, like 20 years ago, I could probably watch this and I'd be perfectly fine. And I probably did. I think that's when I watched the original or something like that. But now it's like I said, it's hard for me on slice of life.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyways.
I will look at everything else again, and then I will make my final decision. Because yeah, there's a lot going on. So.
Oh, there is for sure.
The next show we're going to be talking about is Hachigatsu no Cinderella 9 or Cinderella 9.
I like how the American version just ignores whatever the Hachigatsu no was involved in that, and they're just like Cinderella 9. But what does the Hachigatsu no mean? Oh, we're ignoring that. Just focus on Cinderella 9. It's fine.
So, yeah, this is your standard run-of-the-mill prodigy who's not part of a team, goes to a new school and finds misfits to build a team. It is baseball slice of life high school. It's you couldn't be more cookie cutter than this. I do like the characters, so I am interested in watching it. But as far as like just saying what it is,
we're not
in
bringing
like
anything new to this. This basically is what you're saying.
Nah, that formula, you can take that formula and copy it and put it down and change like the way the characters look, and then we're like, cool, same thing.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I watched two episodes actually. It was good enough to where like I try to keep it at one episode so I can just judge the first episode and I can like if I want to like say everything that happened in the first episode, and I don't feel like I would be spoiling it. But this is why I watched 2 because it was like interesting. Like I like the characters.
Well, and you generally go more towards the sports animes, anyways. So
yeah. I was like, what are they gonna do with baseball this time? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, what are they gonna do with baseball? Okay, well, we're not really doing much of anything new, but sure.
And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like, not doing anything new, but she's cool. What does she do in episode 2? And I moved and I went to the second episode. So yeah, out of that character so far, they're pretty interesting. There's this one girl that is wearing like a cat hoodie with like ears, and she's like super timid, and you're like, oh, she's probably not gonna play on the team, but she might be like the
mascot,
the manager or something like that. Like she'll like get everybody water and towels and like carry around a clipboard or something like that. And then you have this other girl who's like just like a prodigy athlete, and she just doesn't know it and doesn't have any confidence in herself.
Mm.
And you're like, everybody's all like, why don't you play any sport? And she's like, no, I'm not really good at it.
I'm terrible.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding? And then you have like the girl who's actually hitting the ball. She's like, she used to play baseball before. And she for some reason she moved to this new school. She's like, I want to still play baseball. And they're like, I want to start a baseball team. And like her and her friend are I don't remember her friend. I should have like skimmed through the episode again. But yeah, I can't remember what her friend was about. I think she's just that's my friend and I want to help her out. But yeah, both of those two girls end up meeting like the timid girl and the athlete, and yeah, it's like she was trying to teach the other girl. She's like, okay, I'm gonna hit the ball to you and you catch. And she's like, okay, and they're like, in the ball, she's like, ah! And like the ball like bounced next to her. Like it's just straight up typical stuff. And then the other girl, she's like, and another like she would like explain how to catch it or something like that, and then she's like, pop, just catch it like normal. And then like she would throw it, and yeah, she may not have the practice to be able to throw the ball properly, but they're like, yeah, throw it back. She's like, boom, just throwing it like way harder than normal. And she's like, why don't you play baseball? She's like, no, I'm terrible. See, I can't even throw it. And she's like, yeah, you just need to practice on like your strength and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can throw it farther than anybody else here. Like it's that kind of thing. So
waiting for Tom Hanks to come out and go, there's no crying in baseball.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure the way the story is going to go is you have the 4 characters, and it's called Cinderella 9. So eventually they're going to find 5 more characters, and then they're going to start playing in tournaments and stuff like that. And it's going to be fun playing baseball, yay! And then the story's going to be over. Does this show need ketchup? No. It got me to watch farther than I normally do, just off the first episode. Yeah, it's like a run-of-the-mill story, and it's like predictable. Like I know what's gonna happen, but the characters are like spiced up enough to where I'm like, this athlete girl, like, how quickly is she gonna pick all this stuff up? Like, is she gonna be like the MVP? Is she gonna be better than the main girl that started the team? Like, is there gonna be some kind of thing between them, or are they, probably not, because it's like girl power baseball. So, and it's also another weird thing is that they're playing baseball instead of softball. So normally the stereotype is girls play softball and guys play baseball. So for them to be playing hardball or something like that, it's a nice twist on it. And how they're talking about coaching, I hear about that from that's like the nationals tournament, and I hear about that from male-based baseball anime. I've never heard it from a female-based show. So that's another twist that I'm like, this is going to be interesting. But yeah, it's female-led sports anime. Pretty interesting.
I want to say something about that, but I feel like the way you are with that is the exact way that I'm going to be with one of the other animes that we have on our list that we haven't gotten to yet. So I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone because I know it's the exact same, just in a different genre, basically. So.
All right. The next show we're going to be talking about is
This
Huh?
Remember I was just talking about that? Yeah, that's the show. I was about to say, if the next show you bring up is that show, I'm going to laugh. And sure enough, it's the next damn show.
Yeah, the next show we're going to be talking about is Ketchup Manga, or The Wise Man's Grandchild.
Yeah. So I'm going to say just the way this is the fantasy version of your baseball anime, basically. We're not bringing anything new to the genre here. In fact, we're being about as stereotypical as you possibly can get. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I was in my mind. I was kind of like debating on how best to describe this. So like, I would say in terms of fantasy, like the big show fantasy show going on right now is Rise of the Shield Hero. That's the big one going on right now. Rise of the Shield Hero in terms of fantasy is like filet mignon. Really good. Really good, exquisitely done. You know, it's great in all sorts of ways. It goes beyond a lot of ways, and I'll get into that later when we talk about it. But in comparing that to this one, we go from filet mignon to hamburger.
Okay.
Nah. It's not bad.
Hot dogs may be a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just not as good, kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's kind of just the way I feel about this. We're not breaking the mold. We're not doing anything beyond what a stereotypical isekai anime show would do. I do like the characters, just like you were saying about the Cinderella 9. I do like the characters. I like the fact that the only thing they do is little twists. So like, basically his grandfather is Merlin. You put the name Merlin out there, I mean, anyone above a certain age group, I feel like, knows who Merlin is. I mean, you just have that. It carries so much weight to it. Just the name itself carries so much weight to it. And you know, that was their explanation as far as why this character is as overpowered as he is, because he got taught by Merlin. Pretty much it. You know, he has his own little ways of doing things, and he goes a little bit further beyond that. But that was kind of their, okay, this is why the isekai character from another world that came into this world is as overpowered as he is, because he got taught by Merlin. Which is fine. I mean, it's cool. I enjoy that. I like how the main character, he is overpowered, and most times he just doesn't realize it. He feels like everyone should be able to do what he does.
Yeah.
And when they don't, he does something and everyone just stares at him. He's like, so many times that trope has come up where he does something, everyone stares at him, or he says something, everyone stares at him, and he's like, oh, did I mess up again? Did I say something I wasn't supposed to? You know? Like, wait, you can't do that? Why can't you do that?
He's all like, this is just about what I can do right now.
Yeah. You know, he shows them teleportation magic, and they're like, you can teleport? He's like, well, technically, no. It's more of like, I connect 2 points from different areas and just compress the distance between the two of them so that, and then everyone's just kind of looking at him. He's like, I said something I shouldn't have again, haven't I? All right, well, moving on. Yeah, he's just like, I'm not. Yeah, eventually he just kind of gives up on the whole idea that he's even going to be able to speak normally with people or whatever. But um, storyline wise, it's kind of interesting, I guess, because they're talking about how people with magic, if they lose control of it, they essentially turn into demons. With like their so they just they're because the magic is just running wild and rampant. It has no focus. It has no. It's just it's going crazy, and that's basically turned into humanoid demons essentially. Um, which is kind of cool. I get that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Uh, I just I don't like it. You get to a point where you're like the main characters. He's just gonna solve everything, and then you're just like, okay, what's even going to get to a point where he's not going to be able to do something? Is there going to be a point where he's not going to be able to do something? And shows like One Punch Man do a pretty good job, I feel like, of yeah, you know he's going to kill someone in one or he's going to defeat someone in one punch, potentially kill them, but he's not always around. Some things happen, yada yada yada. But like you always follow him, the main character. And even though, there's another kingdom that they've kind of like gone into a little bit later on in the episodes, for the most part, it's focused on him. And you're like, wherever he is, you're fine. Doesn't matter. Whatever's going to happen. There's going to be an explosion. Some craziness is going to happen. Don't worry. He'll solve it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. By pulling out some new form of magic that you had no idea about, and everyone else is going to be standing there with mouth agape, kind of like in, Slime.
Yeah.
I always remember in Slime when they went to the Lizard Men swamp or whatever,
Yeah.
and every time one of the characters did something, the Lizard Men are just standing there with like mouth agape, being like, "What did they? How did they do that?" That's literally what every one character around this guy does on a regular basis. It's like every episode,
After like 2 or 3 times, I'll be like, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's like there was at one point because animals can turn into demons too.
Yeah.
They're more ferocious. Yeah, they're more ferocious and it's more wild and everything. I don't think they're like nearly as powerful as a human, but they're still. It's the ferocity of it basically. And at one point later on, they have the students of the magic and the students of the night squad basically trying to work together with each other, and I guess there was a stampede of demon beasts or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's gonna be crazy. And then main character steps up, Shin steps up, and the guy, the tutor, their I guess their guardian at that time, looks at Shin looks over to him and goes, "You mind if I handle this?" And he's like, "No, go ahead." I like the fact that in a sense, because they already know Shin's going to be able to do something about it, so they're very casual, like, "Oh, go ahead." But everyone else, all the other students around, are just like, "Wait, you're sending him by himself to go take care of this monstrous horde of animals charging down on us right now?" And they're just like, "Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it." But yeah, literally, he makes like a freaking death ray beam and just annihilates a huge section of the forest and just wipes out, turns to dust all of the charging animals that were heading towards him. And then turns around and all the students, mouths agape of being like, "Oh!" And he's just like, "Wait, should I not have done that?" You're like, No, that solved the problem. You're good to go, dude. Don't worry about it, kind of thing. So
we lost some of the force in the process, but it's fine.
It'll
grow back.
It'll
grow back.
Yeah, the demons are gone. That's what's important. You're fine. Don't worry about it. So I don't know. Again, it's not terrible. It's just like if someone were to say, "Hey, I'm wanting to watch a fantasy anime this season. What would you recommend I watch? This one or Shield Hero?" I'd be like, Shield Hero. I wouldn't even hesitate. I'd be like, no, go watch Shield Hero because that's freaking awesome in so many different ways and forms. But what about this one? is good. I guess if you catch up on Shield Hero and you want to watch something else,
Yeah.
sure. But so yeah.
Okay. There's a new Ketchup.
No. I mean, because like I see where it's going,
I know how
and I
you
see what
feel.
it's. Huh?
I know how you feel. It depends
See?
on the person. It depends on the
Yeah,
person. It's like if you're
exactly.
already down for fantasy, then yeah. Same thing with Cinderella Night. If you're down for sports, then yeah. If
Yeah,
not, then it's a little dry.
yeah, exactly, exactly. You know, it's so, and then and even so he has Merlin as his grandfather, and then the lady in the pink hair in the background is like his quote unquote grandmother kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, but her so like Merlin has all the magic. She's like an enchantress. She enchants gear, weapons, armor, yada yada yada, mixing it all this. It's the first day of freaking school. He goes and he's like, he gets his uniform or whatever, and they have it enchanted to a certain extent.
Mhm.
And he looks at it and goes, "Man, that's kind of lame on those enchants. Here, let me go ahead and erase all the enchants that they have on here, and I'm gonna add my own enchants on there." So he does this, and then his grandmother sees this later on and freaks out. And she's like, "What did you do?" She's like, "Well, I thought their enchantments were kind of weak and boring, so I decided to put on my own." And she just goes, "Well, now your uniform is a national treasure." And you're like, "Well, damn. Okay." I'm just like, yeah. It's one of those situations where you look at him and just go, yeah. In terms of magic and problem solving, what can't you do? In terms of social aspects, okay, you are kind of limited in what that happens and whatnot. But that's literally the only problem that he has. So it's like, all right, whatever.
So, um, I've only seen the first episode. Um, Fantasy is not really my strong genre, so the characters have to be like just for me to fall in love with the show. Um, there's like this weird thing about this show that I don't really know why it gets to me, but so the style of animation, like the way it looks, it's fine. It looks good. The way the fights are animated, I feel like the fights are animated like the way somebody would talk about a fight. So it was like the guy came up and then he pulled out his little special weapon and then he was like "Pachow" and it was dead. And that's the way the fight would go. He would like walk, like especially in the first episode, like that demon boar thing that showed up. He walked up to it and he jumped in the air and did his special weapon, and then the animation just went dead. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't even see anything. I think I blinked and it went too fast. Like,
So I mean, like, but see, that's where I look at it and go, this is essentially just like your stereotypical anime, because we went to the we've progressed so far in a lot of those, like, so say for instance, um, the dungeon. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
yeah,
Like the Minotaur fight scene in that one was absolutely gorgeous and amazing.
yeah.
But that's where we've progressed to. This anime goes, well, we already have all the stereotypical tropes and all the characters and everything. Let's go back to the stereotypical tropes and all the fight scenes and everything too. So let's just have it to where we have the, the samurai shing 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 shing, and all of a sudden dead.
Yeah.
We don't have to show the blade movement. We just have to show like cuts going across the screen, and all of a sudden everyone's just dead. You know? Oh yeah, no, I totally get you on that.
Yeah, and I'm like, I feel like they fast travel the fights. I'm like, well, I like seeing the whole fight. I guess y'all don't care. Y'all want to move on. So
Well,
I guess we can move on.
Maybe it's just because they're like, well, we already said he's going to be overpowered as hell, so let's just make it to where it seems like he's even more overpowered by just having the fights be like seconds.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to talk too bad about the show because everybody already knows that fantasy is not my genre. I would say if
See, this is the exact reason I had the same reaction when you were talking about Cinderella 9.
yeah. So yeah, this is
Same
not my
thing.
genre. What would be able to get me into this show is more dynamic fights. The protagonists have a little bit of trouble, and I think that's about it, and I'd be on board.
Mm-hmm.
But as it stands, I will let you enjoy the rest of this show.
Yeah, as much as I can.
Yeah. So for me, needs more ketchup.
Like I said, if you're looking at it in terms of fantasy for this season, I guess I'm really more into Shield Hero than I am this one, but I do watch it just because. Oh yeah, I mean, Shield Hero, man, but. But at the same time, it's not bad. It's just not great. It's not breaking any molds. We're not doing anything new. We're just same old, same old. But see, here's the thing. This was done by Silverlink.
And yeah, it kind of
They are the
sense.
same ones who did Death March back in winter 2018, which again wasn't a bad fantasy anime, but it didn't really break any molds.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
pretty much went stereotypical from that one as well. So the way I'm seeing it is that see, but they did some really good like animes from before, like Kokoro Connect and everything.
Oh, see, that's it depends on what they're focusing on. If they want to make like a character driven like drama with like body swapping, then they can knock it out of the park.
That's original to me. That's original. That's new. I mean, and they also did Fate Stay or Fate Collide. No, it was Fate Collide. There it is. Brave Witches, Like the Blood. You know, there is some. They've done some interesting fantasy ones, but it seems like recently. I don't know if they changed something in like their staffing or what they're doing or whatever, but their recent
an isekai show.
Their recent fantasy ones have been just feeling like a little lacking.
Yeah, because they're doing the isekai thing. They're like, oh, so a guy was in this world and now he's in this other world and he can do whatever he wants, and then like they just about it that way.
Like, can we get a little? See, this is why like eventually I think I really started liking more of the when we went back to traditional fantasy.
Yeah, when they did like pure fantasy,
pure fantasy. Let's ignore the isekai aspect and let's just have a character who's just. I don't even care if he is overpowered. He's going to be overpowered for a reason.
Yeah.
You'll have to come up with that reason, but it's still going to be entertaining because now we're just straight up fantasy, straight fantasy.
Yeah.
So I mean, and don't get me wrong. In this one, even though it is an isekai and he came from another world, after the first episode, it never gets mentioned again.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Like after the first episode, they're just like, "Well, we explained that. Let's just move on. We have other things to do." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm okay with that." But I kind of wish, okay, anime studios out there, listen, just go back to fantasy. Do some fantasy for a little while. You can come back to isekai if you really want to, but let's go just back to fantasy. Come on now.
Yeah, do like Made in the Best did. That was pure fantasy.
I would even go for what's one of the
I don't know. Shield Hero's isekai too, but that's really good.
It is. And I think that they that's just one that someone actually just managed to do correctly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
And that was from Kinema Citrus too. Oh, see, but they did Made in Abyss, so that makes sense.
Oh, Shield Heroes Kinema Citrus?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why.
Uh-huh.
Timberlake, do some character driven body swap show. Yeah, we're good at that.
Yeah. Probably did Black Bullet too. Now I'm going off topic here. Now I'm like, wait, what else has Kinema Citrus done?
Yeah,
Oh,
if you like
okay.
fantasy anime, go ahead and grab this one. It's another fantasy show. Pretty interesting. Well, it's an interesting well, I don't know. It's
You had to
I
back
can't
up.
say interesting if I'm not interested. I'll just say it'll be hypocritical. If you like fantasy, you will.
You'll be
Like,
okay with this.
yeah, there we go.
It's not gonna wow you. You're gonna be okay with this.
Yeah. The next show we're going to talk about is Kimetsu no Yaiba, or Demon Slayer. Kimetsu no Yaiba.
I am actually enjoying this one far more than I thought I would.
I am too. I am only one episode in, and oh man.
Yeah, I'm current. I'm current on this. This show, like I said, okay, so I don't know, just because we're both veterans when it comes to animes and stuff like that, and watching them for just as long as we have. I think there came a point, at least for me, where things in old era Japan kind of thing became kind of blasé.
Yeah, that Edo era stuff.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I don't even care what period it was. It was just a matter of it being the older period of Japan. I was just like, okay, come on, we've done this. We've had the samurais, we've had the ninjas, we've had even demons in these animes before. And I'm just like, I was very iffy on this just because of that.
For some reason, I didn't even pay attention to the setting. It was done so well, and the story sucked me in so well that I didn't even pay attention to that it's a time period that I'm not really a big fan of, because a lot
Exactly.
of the shows during that time period are dry.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, I completely agree. And I absolutely, and I don't know if you've seen, since you've only seen the first episode, you haven't seen as much of it, but later on, the style of this is just absolutely amazing. Who's the one who did this one?
UFO
UFO
Table,
Table. Okay, that's
which is
why.
what, yeah, I was like,
That's
this is
why.
UFO Table.
UFO Table
I
did this, and the style of it is just gorgeous.
Yeah, I was going to mention, like, I have seen a bit of that, of the style, because of the intro. Like, I
Okay,
watched the intro during
I
the
was gonna
first episode.
ask about that because I was like, you know me, I usually skip the intro because I want to be surprised
Yeah,
when things happen, and a lot of times, intros spoil a lot of stuff that I hate. Um,
yeah. I watched it the first time in the first episode, or second time if they try to make the first episode cinematic and don't put an intro in there, they'll put it in the second one. So this one happened to put it in at the end of the first episode. So I saw the style that's gonna pop up, and I'm like, yep, UFO Table.
hmm So like
So
his way of when he learns the sword, his way of being able to wield that, and then like his moves all formulate around water. So I love the fact that when he does specific moves, you'll see like, and it looks like that brush artwork that you see in like Japanese scroll artwork kind of thing.
yeah, the artwork that was done back in that time.
Yeah, and you actually see that come into, and it at first it was a little jarring, a little surprising, but once it after the first time it happened, it looks just gorgeous.
Yeah.
So Yeah, character-wise, I absolutely love the brother-sister characters.
Mhm.
Um, the fact that and I just know since you only watched the first episode, she'll always have, at least as far as I've watched at this point, that mouth guard that she
Uh,
has in the first one.
yeah.
That's like a staple.
Yeah.
So she doesn't talk.
Mhm.
So because she has that. So since she doesn't talk, a lot of what she does are like her emotions portray on her face.
Mhm.
And I think in a lot of same sense like they did with Slime. Since he doesn't have a lot of features or whatever, they still do an amazing job. Since she's not speaking, you
Mhm.
can still see what she's implying or what she says just from her facial expressions. And I love that.
Mhm.
You know, I think at one point it was hilarious. At one point, one of the people that he meets along the way calls her ugly, and she doesn't get mad. She gets upset. Like all of a sudden, um, are like her eyes turn into like little like small little circles with like squiggle lines all the way through it, like
Mhm.
she's about to go into tears or whatever. And you're just like, oh man, why'd you have to? No, you made her cry. You know, and then of course the brother has to interject in. What do you mean she's a gorgeous kid? And she starts saying all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're just being the brother, just whatever. But as I say, like the characterization in that, and then um, the brother when he uses his nose to do stuff. You have problems?
Oh no.
What?
Internet died again.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it'll come back in like 30 seconds.
You still have
Uh,
problems with that?
yeah, and now what? 3:30, 3:30, and 9:30. I don't understand why.
There you go.
OBS still says 0, so
I just popped up on mine. Oh, yep, no, you're offline.
yeah, fully offline until it says reconnection. Okay, OBS is back.
And there it goes. So, nice little
Welcome
puzzle.
back.
Welcome back. But yeah, even when he's doing like his ability to smell specific things and very heightened sense of smell, like they'll have that same artwork like they do with his water movements with the blade or whatever. You'll
Okay.
see like the wisps going like through trees or whatever like that. I think it's really cool looking, and I think the idea behind that is really cool too. So yeah, I just in general characters, I don't mind the setting, the storyline, because I mean the story is just him trying to get his sister back to normal, and then get revenge on the demon that had killed his family. I'm behind it. I'm like 110% behind it.
Okay.
I get super excited whenever a new episode comes out, and I immediately have to watch it whenever I get a chance. So
Yeah. I'm glad that you actually are hyped for a UFO table show. I know recently, well, for a long time they've been doing the Fate series, which you're not a fan of, and then
yeah,
they did that Cute Boys Who Are Also Swords show that I
yep.
think we both started and didn't finish, or at least I know.
I think I like started half an episode of that and was just like, yeah, no.
Okay, so now yeah, well, on board for this one. Yeah, I absolutely love the show. I love the characters. One thing that made me kind of laugh was when when the sister was attacking him, and she like he's like, oh my gosh, she got bigger. And I'm like, wait, what? And then when they flew against the tree and then she shrank back down, like she had these big man legs, and then she just shrank down, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
She was bigger. Okay. It was just
well, and then
these two big man legs sticking out. I'm like, whoa. Okay, I see what you're talking about.
oh yeah. She got swole. She got swole. Which is funny too, because later on she actually manipulates and grows even smaller. Because I like how they did it. Like, eventually he ends up getting like this box that he can, like a backpack almost. And during the day, it's like painted black lacquer, so the sunlight doesn't get in. And during the day, he can walk with her because of that.
Nice. I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
The show is actually darker, a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. From the picture, I was like, oh, cool, it's going to be like a band of misfits and this dude with a, like, board head. And you're all like, yeah. But then I saw the intro, and I'm like, oh, no. Oh, this is going to be brutal.
Oh, yeah, no, I think the first demon that they end up meeting, I mean, more things happen, but, like, literally he's struggling because he hasn't still learned what he can do or ability to kill demons. And the next thing you know, out of nowhere, his sister just comes by and literally kicks the head off the demon.
Yeah.
And you're just like, damn! Holy crap! Yeah, it's crazy.
I can't wait to get back to this. It's gonna be so good.
I mean, anyone who's into swordplay, anyone who's into fantasy, anyone who likes a good storyline, even like a revenge storyline. Basically, if you like the John Wick movie, here you go. Here's an anime for you.
Yeah, I would say this is like the demon style fantasy.
Yeah. But it is done so well. So well. The characters that you meet are amazing. Storyline's great. And just the animation is just super well done. So, I mean, this probably ranks right up there for me for this season with Rise of the Shield Hero.
Okay.
I put it right up there with it.
Nice. So, as you can probably guess already, does this show need Ketchup?
Hell no. Not even a little. What this show needs is to bring out more episodes.
Yeah.
It likes to leave it on those some cliffhanger moments. And I'm like, no, I want to know. I want to see. Shoot, there's a freaking demon right now who is using toy balls like cannonballs. You know, like those like old rubber, like the old timey rubber balls, like that you see little kids in like stereotypical old time Japan or whatever holding around and just bouncing or something like that. Using those, literally tearing through a freaking house. And I'm like, holy crap! I want to see more of that. What are we doing here? There's a freaking demon who has eyeballs in his hand and is able to use it as tracking. I'm like, this is freaking cool. The freaking variety here. You know, you're not just like, oh, there's big muscular demons. You're like, no, these are demons that have different powers, different abilities, and every time our unlikely hero comes up against him, he's got to figure out what the hell to do to be able to take him out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. So, and he's not overpowered.
Yes, which is
Struggles.
great.
He struggles to figure things out and get things done. I mean, even though he has a sister who is a demon, and she does help, it's not like, it's still not overpowered, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, absolutely 100% recommend this one. So,
The next show we're going to be talking about is One Punch Man Season 2.
have you been watching this one?
Saw the first episode.
Uh-huh.
Um,
What's your take?
it's about what I thought was going to happen. Anybody else want to take over One Punch Man Season 2? Yeah, I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's lackluster.
It is. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but when you compare it to season 1, that's when you start going, eh.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so like, say for instance, if JC Staff had done season 1,
Mhm.
and then if Madhouse had done season 2, that would have been hyping it up even more.
Yeah.
I feel like we'd have gone from an A- show to an A++ show right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not bad, but we'd be even better. But then when you go from the reverse of that, it's
all
like
the hype in the world.
all the hype in the world, and then this comes about, you're just like, oh man.
So
what the hell did you guys do? I just okay, so some of the material I feel like is like, it's not just on JC Staff. It's not just on JC.
Who could even follow that the first season?
I don't know, but it's not just on JC Staff. Like, some of the material that they're
Madhouse
using.
didn't even want to follow Madhouse.
Yeah. But I mean, okay, to be fair, Madhouse usually doesn't follow Madhouse.
Yeah.
The only time they did that was once, and that was with Overlord.
Yeah.
And you see how well that turned out. Like, wait, did you guys seriously, did you lose funding on it or something? What the hell happened?
Like, wait, who approved season 2 for us to do it? Or y'all supposed to auction this off to somebody else?
Yeah, you're supposed to give it away. What happened?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Damn.
Give it to the JV team then. Okay.
JC will do it. They do everything. But yeah, like, just even the source material, I feel like if they're going off the source, I don't know if they are or not, but like what the material that we're using for the dialogue and the story driven points, I feel like are lackluster. Not to mention, and then so I don't feel like that's JC's thing unless they're actually doing this on their own. If they're not, if they're going off source material, then okay, maybe whoever, the guy who created the manga and One Punch Man, he kind of started to just, maybe his own hype and his own self got the better of him, and he's just like, man, I could do whatever the hell I want. This is great. I just throw and just do this and this and this, and it's like, no, you kind of screwed yourself at this point.
I feel like the whole manga was like done in one style.
Mm.
And then Madhouse, the director who did it, he was like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. Not what it is. I see where it's going. Let's see. Let's take this and crank it take this and crank it, take that and crank it, and then we have the hypest show ever. And then JC Staff comes with the second part, and they're like, oh, okay, I see what he did here. Yeah, let's do that. And then let's do that, and let's do that. There's no cranking. Like, there's no, like, hypeness. Like, when you think of, when somebody's like, so when somebody says, One Punch Man, everybody else goes, Punch! Like, there's like, yeah. And, like, and I went back to the first episode and just kind of skipped around to kind of see, like, what was there. And, like, that, like, that guitar riff was there throughout the first episode. And it's like, it would go, like, commercial break, like, and I'm like, yeah, where is that? Like, there's this underlying, like, just rush of power that's completely voided out in the season 2. And
well, and it's like, okay, so like for the main character Saitama, it's like in the first season and everything, he was all like, I just want to fight someone stronger than me. He's, you know, you realize from the very first episode, he's like, I want to fight someone who's stronger than me because I have lost my drive for being a hero. I have lost that because I when I put my life in danger and I actually felt danger, I never felt more alive than when I did then. You get that from the very first episode.
Yes.
Then we go to season 2. Now he's talking to other people about, oh, you're just a phony hero. You know, and it's just like, when did he become so judgmental? He wouldn't have cared about that before.
Yeah.
He knew all these heroes were here, but now that they're approaching him, now all of a sudden he has opinions about how good of a hero they are? You know what I mean? I'm like, no, that's not how Saitama was. Saitama's character has just been about the fight. He wants a good fight. You know, and then at some point, the main protagonist in this, Garo, they had him meet up with Saitama, and Saitama just dispatches with him, of course, easily. But then they make it to like Saitama never even knew who he was. And it's like, wait, Saitama went to a hospital when Tank Top, the S rank hero, got beat by Garo, talked with 3 other heroes about him. How would he not know who Garo was? I get Saitama can be oblivious sometimes, but if he really wants a good fight, and he's seen this one guy who's taking out heroes left and right, how would he not know who he was? I would think that would be on one of the top priority lists of him. I need to find this guy because he might actually give me a good fight. Instead, we have Saitama go to a martial arts tournament and, of course, beat everyone there.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would he want to even go to a martial arts tournament? When Bang originally gave him saying, hey, I'll show you my martial arts moves, Saitama was like, I'm not interested. Like, really? This is what you brought us all here to be able to look at? You know, and even Genos was just like, I'm more for the killer moves. This is like defensive. I don't care. And then they have him go to a martial arts tournament? It's like, did some fanboy just go, hey, you know what sounds really cool? Let's have him do like a Goku thing, go to a martial arts tournament and beat the ever-living crap out of everyone else. It's like, come on. This is why it feels like it's One Punch Man light. We're taking what made One Punch Man great, and we're just changing tracks out of nowhere.
This is like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Like 7 like brought back the epicness, and then 8 was like, forget all that epicness, nothing matters. And then maybe season 3, like the original people will come back and crank back up the hypeness. Don't know. But
I don't know.
it kind of feels like that same type of pattern.
Yeah. It's like this is One Punch Man light. This is the same reason playing Borderlands, I hated the pre-sequel because it felt like Borderlands light. Here we have an anime who went from something great, something amazing. Yes, he was overpowered, but they did it the correct way, and now they're like, yeah, screw that. We're like, wait, what? No, that's what we want. We want to see him do into these epic battles and have all these like monsters. You're just like, oh my god, what is he gonna do? Because
Did y'all not watch the first one?
I really want to ask them now. JC Staff, what did you see the first series? or did Madhouse just approach you going, hey, you want the second season to this? We made it really good. Oh yeah, let's go. Just take it. Come on, we'll get it. You want to watch this? No. You guys hyped it up enough. We're good. We can do whatever we want. What's the character's name? All right, that's cool. That's all we need to know.
So
it's just and it's like they had these little snippets at the end of the episodes where they're just like little funny things or little teasers about certain things or whatever. And then they had all the guys at the Hero Association make Saitama's hero name Cape Baldy. And it's like, really? You're bringing that back? That was just a joke that you had. That Saitama even said in the first season, and you're bringing that back? Not to mention the fact that everyone, like you already said, Saitama's been gaining rankings because people are actually seeing what he does to monsters, and yet you're gonna name him Cape Baldy because that was the joke that was done in the first season, and not One Punch Man, really? It's like, oh god, just stop it. Just stop it. I don't like seeing existential crisis Saitama where he's like trying to be all like, oh, you guys aren't the best hero is because you have your morals are all backwards and wrong, and it's like he would not care about that. He would just punch him and be done with it. Someone starts, what was the joke in the first season when someone started to go into a monologue? He doesn't like hearing people go into monologue. He gets bored. He's like, are we going to fight or are you just going to sit here and talk me to death? And yet, what are people doing? They're monologuing to him and he's just standing there and taking it. It's like, oh, God, just stop it.
Wow. Does this season need ketchup?
Freaking open the bottle and pour it on. Just, God. Frustrating to the 10th degree.
Yeah. I prepared myself for it to not be as good. I don't think I prepared myself enough because I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what's happening?
Where did we go wrong?
Why?
See, the only character that they have done correctly is Genos.
Yeah.
But he has no character to him. That's the only reason why they did it correctly. Because his character he has no character.
He just has objectives.
He just has objectives. He's very logical and very straightforward in what he wants to do. So therefore, yeah, they did him great. That's all they did.
Yeah. One thing, actually, I know what happened for me. The one thing that I thought was going to change was the animation style, and it did. But I thought that was going to be it. I thought people were like, oh, well, it's the same show, but it looks weird. I'm like, oh, no. it's a whole complete and different interpretation of the show, and it looks different. And that's where I was like, oh no, this isn't even the same show almost. So, sadly, I say it does need Ketchup too. I don't know if I'm gonna watch the rest of it. I think, well, it depends. If you watch, if you can get through the rest of it, then I'll go ahead and watch it so we can talk about it. But if not, then I'm gonna leave it on the back burner until season 3, if there's a season 3.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. I'm just in hopes that, you know,
because nobody's talking about it.
I'm in hopes that something's gonna get better with it. I'm in hopes that something's gonna change with it. I might be hoping too much. I might get to the very last episode of the season and be like, "Wow, that was a complete waste of time." It's just, again, I think it's because we're comparing it to the first season that the second season seems so bad. If we just started this off with what we're seeing right now with this right here, it would be a whole different thing.
I don't even know if I would like be hyped if it started out here. Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, okay, it just seems like an average superhero show.
Yep.
I've only seen the first episode, so I haven't seen a lot of the other fights that I'm pretty
so
aware.
Like Garo's fights are like the most interesting thing above all else. And it's not even like that's like outstandingly stellar or anything. It's just it's the most interesting thing about the entire thing, I think. So it's I use the same I'll use the same analogy that I used with Shield Hero and the Merlin anime. We have filet mignon and we have hamburger. I think that's what we've downgraded from filet mignon to hamburger here. It's not bad. It's
some
just
people
not...
don't like. Some people don't like filet mignon. Some people just want a burger. So if you want a burger, go ahead and check out season 2.
Here you go. If you enjoyed the filet mignon of season 1, you're probably gonna have a bad time with season 2's hamburger. Anyways.
But, yeah. The next show we're gonna be talking about is, oh boy.
Yeah. I'm surprised you watched this one.
I kind of wish I didn't.
I've heard things about this one.
You gotta experience it.
I'd rather not experience things going up other people's anuses. I'd rather not.
It's trip.
See, this is the type of show that you would tell someone. This is just like when the internet was first being the internet, and like you show your friend, you're like, hey man, did you see that video about 2 girls, 1 cup? Yeah. You're like, hey dude, you want to see this oh dude, you gotta watch this anime. Just sit down and watch. And then you just have a camera in front of them. You're like, what's the camera for? Don't worry about it. Why is it recording me? Don't worry about it, man. Just watch the anime. You're fine. Just watch it. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, am I wrong in that assumption? Kind of like that?
It's like 2 girls, 1 cup.
It's a shock. You just look at it and go, what the hell did I just get myself into, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Two Girls, One Cup, but I
Oh
will
yeah,
never.
don't ever. No. Don't ever. Don't ever. As a
Um,
friend, I'm telling you right now, don't ever, 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 ever.
yeah, this anime is the thing. Like it's very like I'm trying to explain like the world around the whole thing, and it's. Have you seen Penguin Drum?
Yeah, I think so. I think that sounds familiar.
Um,
The girl who was like the queen of the penguins or something like that.
uh, no,
Man,
I don't remember the story. I do remember that it was such a unusually formatted show that it's like hard to explain.
mm-hmm.
And this show is just like that.
I just want to say, like, Mappa, what the hell did you do?
Oh, the animation is incredible. Um,
Uh,
what they decided to animate is like, what is this? And like, oh no, it's my artistic impression. I'm like, okay. Um,
I'd be like, Mappa's done some pretty good things. Like, Zenkyo no Terror was an
yeah,
amazing, amazing storyline. And then they do something like this, and you're like, did someone lose a bet? I mean, you just like, you had the dude in the back who was like, I have an idea, I have an idea. And like for the last 3 years, you've been like, dude, no, we're doing this. And then finally on a meeting, you're like, you know what? We got nothing else going. Let's do the idea that dude had, and let's just leave it at that. You didn't even ask him what the idea was, and because he's been sitting there for like 3 years on an idea, he just took that idea and just ran with it. And is like, you know what? I'm just gonna do the most bizarre, messed up thing I could possibly think of.
yeah. Um, so the whole weird up the butt thing is apparently it has to do with kappas, and if
I have never. I mean, maybe they're just Most anime companies were just like, you know what? We're gonna have a Kappa in here, but we're just gonna ignore the fact that they do butt stuff. Let's just ignore that and just have Kappas do other things. Because I've never had anything to do with a Kappa to have to do with somebody's up somebody's butt. Never.
I've
Where did the
never.
lore from this came from?
I'm like, maybe like you said, maybe that's the part where they're like, oh, we don't talk about that part, but we do talk about this other part.
But it's like, if that's the case, then why did Mappa go, I have a brilliant idea? That part that they never talk about, we're gonna talk about it. Oh God.
It's so weird. So apparently your desires are there, and if you piss off a kappa, it'll go in there and steal your desires. Um,
I'm sorry, I'm like 12 thinking about this, and I'm just like, oh God. Anytime you're like, say, your desires are up your butt. Really? Really? Well, that could explain some things for certain people, I guess. Oh God.
um,
Uh,
so you have three main guys, and one of them has this secret that it gets explained in the first episode. Um, Another one, just like a hooligan character. He's like breaking into cars and stuff like that. And then you have this third character who is kind of annoying. Like, I don't remember like what all. After seeing like half the episode, it kind of like wiped my brain. I'm like, what is life anymore? But yeah, so so you end up following the main character with the secret. He has these very like he has an abundance of rituals that he has to do. He's like, every day I must carry around my box. I'm like, what is with your box? Why are you carrying around a box?
What's in the box?
Box is branded Kapazon.co.jp. It's just like the Kappa Amazon or whatever. So I'm like, oh, is there a service like Amazon that this story has to deal with? I don't know.
I hope Amazon doesn't find out about it. Oh, jeez.
So they so he's carrying around his box. Another ritual that he has to do is he has to take a selfie every day, and he also has to watch this show about with this one idol. She's like a prediction idol, and it's weird because in these shows, there's always this weird thing going on that is part of society, and like I don't like there's this like it's kind of like a news idol, except she doesn't talk about the news. She does like horoscopes and like talks about your lucky item, and it comes on every morning just like a news show, and a bunch of people watch it, and this one main character, like, he has to watch it every day. So he goes and it's also playing on like the big screen in the city. So he's like walking around with his box, and he's like, oh, I gotta watch my show, and then he's like, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. So he has all these rituals that he has to do, and he always has to carry his box, and he ends up let's see. It switches to the guy that's breaking into cars. He's breaking into a car right behind a sign that says "Watch out for break-ins." So I'm like, is he doing that in spite of the sign? And like, oh, you parked your car right next to a sign that says "Watch out for break-ins," so I'm gonna break into that car. Like, I don't understand why that's the thing, but as he's breaking into a car, the girl from the show, she has like, you know how some characters, they have that weird extra word that they say at the end of their sentences, after the end of every sentence. There's this one show where this guy, he's like a money grubbing guy, and the money in that world is called Zenny. So he's like, oh, ha 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 ha, give me all your money, Zenny. And he's like, now I'm gonna go over here, Zenny. Like, she has a word, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, she's like taking the selfie in front of the guy that's breaking into a car, and then she's like, selfie, da, da, da. And then he's like, hey, you just took a picture of me, and she's like, oh, and then she like runs off, and he starts chasing after her, and he loses her, and then he ends up finding the guy with his box, and he has the same charm on his phone that the girl does. So he's like, hey, you must be linked with that other girl. And I don't know what he means by linked, but so he goes after him, and like looks like he's using a big ruler, like a yardstick or something like that, to break his car. So he swings at the dude with the yardstick, and misses and falls on the guy. And for some reason, that guy is standing in front of this golden Kappa statue, and they both fall on it, knock it over, and break it. and this smoke explosion, just poof. And then the main character ends up at home, and the other guy's off somewhere else. I don't know. And then, or he wakes up at school. I can't remember. The story's all over the place. But let's say he wakes up at home, and then he goes to school. He interacts with some other people, and he comes across that guy. Like, oh, that's what it is. Yeah, he ends up at school, and then he starts hearing this like ding, and then he's like, "What's that sound? I don't know what that sound is." Ding, and then they start acting weird. They start like getting into this weird pose, and it's like ding, and then they're like and doing something else, and then like ding, and then they're both like dressed up like sumo wrestlers, and they're like doskoi. And I'm like, what the hell am I watching? And then they go back to normal, and it's like ding, and then they're chewing on a cucumber. And I'm like, and then they go up about normal things, like ding. Like, we got to find out what the source of this ding is. And I'm like, yes, would they quit playing this ding sound because it's driving me crazy? And then they get over to the statue, and then you see where the statue was. There's a cat going ding, like banging this cucumber on the bald spot of his head. And he's like ding, ding, ding. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna strangle somebody. So then he stops and starts talking to them, and he's like, oh, you broke my statue, blah 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 blah. And then he's like, it's a frog, and he's like, don't call me a frog. And like, but you look like a frog. And he gets like super pissed, and then steals their thing, and then they both turn in. Oh god. He steals it, and one guy wakes up covered in this orange goo, and he's like, what just happened? And then he looks, and the Kappa has his butt just right in the screen, and then it just opens up, and this orange glob falls out, and it's the other guy. I'm about to throw up on my couch, and because I just watched a Kappa give birth to another Kappa, and I'm like, I think I need to go to bed. But he breaks out of the shell, so now there's two of them, and then the third guy comes out of nowhere, and he's like, "Hey, you're a frog!" And he's like, "Ah!" And like chases after him, eats him too. And I'm like, what am I watching? And then all of a sudden, these Eva demon Kappas or something start stealing a bunch of boxes from I don't know who. I don't know if everybody has their own box or they just raided a Kappa Zen facility. So there's like all these demon like this box is just floating in the sky and regular humans can't see it. So like on the news, they're like, there's boxes flying around. We don't know why. But because the guys are Kappas, they can see it, and there's these like demon Kappas like floating around, sending the boxes somewhere. And then where they're going is this giant box demon thing. And he's all like, yes, give me boxes or whatever. And then they do some like transformation thing and like go and try to fight him. And then he's like, yes, boxes. And they get behind him. And I'm like, oh no. Please no. Like, all right, let's go in. And I'm like, And yeah, it's a bunch of weird stuff happens, and then he's like, no, my thing. And then they get this orange orb, and he's like, we got it. And then it like starts melting. And they're like, oh no, it's melting. And then the guy that turned them into the Kappas is like, give it to me before it all melts. They're like, and they're like running, and it's all like, and he's like, and then
they're like, So
don't watch this show.
Well,
like somebody warned me. Like somebody was like, "Oh, I watched this Sada something," and he's like, "It's not good. Don't watch it." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I gotta watch it now." Don't watch it. Like, listen to him.
So while you were explaining all that, I happened to look on Wiki at Kappas. And basically, from what you described, is basically what someone did for this anime was go on Wiki and just take everything that they saw there. It was like, I'm gonna make that into an anime. Because that's exactly what freaking happened here. Because like in the very first, or the first paragraph, the final line of it is, Kappas are known to favor cucumbers and love to engage in sumo wrestling. They are often accused of assaulting humans in water and removing a mythical organ called shirikadoma from the victim's anus.
Yeah.
And apparently a shirikadoma is the soul?
Okay.
Yeah. And that's, yeah. I'm just finding this fascinating because the fact that I have seen Kappas in at least a good 5 or 6 other animes, and they never touched on the whole anus thing, not even once.
Yeah.
And here is Mappa that just looks at it and goes, "Hold my beer," and goes, "You never thought there was anything to do with anuses and Kappas. You were wrong.
Look at what we found on Wikipedia.
Look at what we found on Wikipedia. We're not just gonna talk about it. We're gonna dive headfirst into this shit." And yeah,
Literally.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like, really, Mappa, you go from Dororo, which was an awesome Edo period anime apparently I've been hearing about. And, well, I guess you did, I don't know. And Shingeki no Bahamut, and then you go into butt stuff.
hey, some people they be adventurous.
Oh, Jesus.
Um,
Anyways, I think
yeah.
I don't even want to touch it with ketchup. Let's just say that, all right?
Yeah, like does this show need ketchup? Just throw it in the trash.
There's not enough ketchup in the world to drown it out.
Yeah, it's not. Don't watch it. And the weird thing is, like, there's shows that I regret watching. Like there's this one show that had like mafia stuff in it, and like something horrific happened, and I regret watching and seeing that because it scarred me. There's been other shows that have like scarred me and desensitized me to like graphic anime violence, like Elven Lied.
That was an
That
awesome
I don't.
show.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't regret watching that. This show, I don't regret watching it, but I don't want anybody else to. I'm giving you fair warning. This show is beyond weird. It's almost disturbing.
It's like, you know,
if you want to go on an adventure,
we've watched some weird stuff.
Buckle up.
We've watched some weird stuff, and I don't necessarily regret watching the weird stuff that we've watched. Like Arakawa Under the Bridge.
This is kind of like that. It's not made by Shaft, but it has Shaft style.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I think
like Arakawa Under the Bridge was like, it was weird, but you knew that from the get-go. But you know, like you have a person. It's weird because you have a person with a star head or something like that, you know?
Yeah, like the pacing of the show is different. Like they
Yeah.
would show to a halt just to show a weird scene. You're like, okay, I guess we're here now.
I mean,
And then
and then
the
like,
scene,
you
like,
know,
we're here now.
footy cootie. That's a weird show.
Yeah,
But those were weird in a good way.
yeah.
This is just weird because they thought they wanted to be weird. Because they saw all the other animes out there that were doing kappas, and they're like, "Hey, you're missing a very important piece of lore here. No one's ever talked about." And all the other anime production companies went, "Well, there's a reason why we don't talk about that." And they're like, "Well, screw that, because we're going to talk about it. Not only are we going to talk about it, we're going to make a freaking anime about it." I don't know who's... I don't know what audience we're reaching for on this one, but you know what? We figure there's an audience for this somewhere.
Yeah, if you decide to watch this, just buckle up because
God help you.
I'm stopping here, and that'll probably be it. Yeah. The next show we're going to be talking about is TacoYaki Kitsune no Senko-san, or The Helpful Fox Senko-san.
Now,
definitely going to need some TLC from Miss Fox because I feel tired and worn out
after
watching that.
after watching the Kappa anime. So, what are your impressions on this one?
I want to see the first episode, so I'm kind of curious, like, where else is it gonna go? I know there's other characters that are gonna show up, so that's gonna be interesting. It fits right in with like the what was it, Dragon Maid? Like it's this regular person, this fantastical creature comes in and completely changes their life.
I don't know. I like Dragon Maid a lot because of the characterization and the adventures that they went on and the things that they did. I'm on episode 7 of this one right now. And we really haven't progressed a whole lot from this.
Yeah.
We really haven't. That's why I'm like, I don't know what the idea was behind this originally or what the purpose was, but I think you lost something somewhere along the way.
Okay. So this show is made by Dogakobo, which is one of my favorite studios. Because it's cute girls doing cute things.
Okay, and in that sense, they nailed the crap out of this.
So,
in that sense, they've nailed the crap out of this, but I don't think they had an idea about where they wanted to go after that.
No, that's usually where they stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it's cute, isn't it? And you're like, yeah. We're like, okay, good.
We've accomplished our goal. We're there. And you're like, but what else are we... No. Nothing else happening. But you know what? No. What else do you... Yeah, what else do you need?
Good enough.
Look, she's cute. She's adorable.
Doesn't this brighten your day?
And if they want to, if the freaking main character says fluff one more time, I'm gonna be like, dude, do you have a problem? You need to seek help. Because that's literally all he wants to do. And it's just freaking weird.
Yeah. I was kind of over it on the first episode.
Oh, yeah. No, if you want to continue this one, buckle up. Because it happens a lot. And then the other fox enters. I don't know if you've seen the other one from the white-haired fox.
Yeah, from the intro. I saw it
Yeah.
from the beginning, and then I saw her in the intro. So I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, no, she enters, and he really wants to fluff her tail. Again, I'm like, dude, you have a problem. Stop wanting to fluff 800-year-old fox deities' tails for the love of God. I don't know, because it's like, you know, there was a relationship in Dragon Maid. There was like this relationship. There was this characterization where even though she didn't really need someone there with her, it was funny. It was, yeah, they did things you're like, oh, that's cool, you know. And then when the other dragon came into, you know, okay, so and then there again, when the second dragon made or the dragon character came in, the little girl, man, she was freaking adorable.
Yeah.
To like times 10. Even I will fully admit that. I'm like, she is freaking adorable. Yes. This other one enters the scene, you're just like, well, great, we have another one. You know, it's yeah, no. I don't know why I continue watching it. I really don't. But I do.
I'm
I don't know why.
surprised.
I'm surprised too. I thought I would after like the second or third episode I'd be like, okay, I see that the writing's on the wall. I see where this is going, and I don't care for it much.
And then you're like, now about episode 7.
But now I'm on episode 7. You know, and
uh,
they do things in this that you're just like, why are we here? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? What is the point? Because at one point he goes and she goes and washes his back in the bath, and we have like a half episode just on that. You know, and then he's like, wait, I get to go and see where she has the tail connected into her, and like he gets all excited about that. He's like, I really want to see where her tail actually connects onto her actual body and everything.
hey.
Yeah, and then when her tail gets wet, of course, what happens when fur gets wet? No matter how fluffy the fur is, when fur gets wet, it shrinks.
Yeah.
And then he gets all like disappointed and dejected because he sees that.
Oh my
And then he's like, will it ever be the same? And it's like, well, yeah, she dries it.
god.
Duh. I believe that's going to happen then, huh? I was like, yeah, no, it's going to happen. And then he has a freaking
if you finish the whole thing.
he has a freaking neighbor who is going to school and is also a manga artist who finds out about all this, and they just brush it off that she's cosplaying. And then we move on. Like that was like there was a big thing about she's gonna find out, she's gonna think things are weird, and she's gonna call the police because she thinks I have this little kid who's, and then you're like, oh, she's doing cosplay and she's actually like my quote unquote wife, and they're like, oh, okay, moving on.
Okay.
And I'm like, what is going on? What is the deal? And she's like, well, I'm here to heal your exhaustion. And it's just like, so when is he not going to be exhausted anymore? Is that ever going to happen? Or is she 800 years old and just like, well, your lifespan I could care less about because I'm 800 years old and it doesn't even freaking matter. So I'm going to be with you till you die. And it's like, all right, sure. They had like half an episode where she tries to use technology to do chores. You know, in Dragon Maid it was cute, and the other this one you're just like, she's just like, I give up. She's like, I'm just gonna do things the way I want to do things. You're like, What is the point? Why? Just why? Anyways, so that yeah.
I'm guessing for you, it does need more ketchup.
So my only point of comparison for this anime is just like you said, Dragon Maid. That's my only point of comparison. And if I were comparing those two together, yes, this needs a whole bunch of ketchup. Because the characters are better in Dragon Maid, the storyline's better in Dragon Maid, there's a better pacing in it. I mean, it's just like every aspect of when you compare the two of these together is better for Dragon Maid. If I never knew about Dragon Maid and never watched that anime, it's like comparing them with if we were going for like One Punch Man season 1 and One Punch Man season 2. If we started on season 2, I'd be okay with it. But I know Dragon Maid exists. I've seen it. I've seen it to completion. I don't know if I'm going to see this one to completion or not. To me, it's just kind of just blasé. So, anyways,
yeah, I don't know yet. For me, it's I'm curious about the other characters. Like, I'm curious about the other characters. I want to see the other Fox girl. I want to see the neighbor. I want to see if there's like a point, or do they just stay in the house?
They go to a grocery store. That's about it. I think you see him briefly at work and then the grocery store.
Sometimes that's amusing. Like, what was it? Recreators? Remember I saw the trailer and I was like, man, all they did is go to the store in the trailer and I just want to be there. To be like, hey, this is cool. What are we buying? Cool. Just sit there. So I don't know. Maybe they'll be interesting enough for me because the Nakagobo that I'll be okay with that. But yeah, as of right now, I'm interested. It has enough catch up for me to continue. We shall see at the end of the season whether it kept if I even like the characters or if anything happened. We shall see.
Good luck.
Next show we're going to be talking about for this season, and then we will have one that's a recurring show. Attack on Titan season 3.5.
So how's it going?
I've only saw the first episode. So at the end, it was like, fight. And I was like, cool. I'll be back later.
Oh, jeez.
Have you watched?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh, wait. How far are you? Where are you?
Core before this.
Oh.
The boring core that what you said, the build-up core for this.
The barely any Titans.
Yeah.
You gotta catch up.
I saw the episode where shoot, what is his name? Levy met with the old dude who tried to, or they, yeah, not the older dude, but just like the dude in the cowboy hat who tried to kill him. Then essentially, yeah, that's where I left off.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I am excited. This is. We got a ton of answers already, but there are still some answers that we don't have, and I feel like they're like, after this fight, then you can find out the answers. So,
you know it's not gonna happen.
Well, maybe.
They're gonna be after this fight. They're like, oh, but wait, there was this super mega deluxe fight that over here that you had no idea about, and now we have to go to this one.
Remember that thing we showed you at like the beginning of season 2? Now we're gonna flesh that out. So
No, it's gonna be another basement thing where we ignore it for like the next 20 episodes.
oh my god. So one thing that I'm very curious about is why is this only 10 episodes? I'm like, do they have a little bit of story to finish up before the final arc, or is this the end? The way with the stakes, the way they are now, I feel like it's probably going to be the end. But if anybody's current, they're only 3 episodes from the end, so I'm very curious to see like how everything's going to go.
This is definitely one of those things where I was like, I'm glad I'm kind of waiting on this because I would rather just like binge watch the rest of it and just be done with it than have to be like, and now we go for part 3.5, and now we go for part 3.75, and it's like, come on, you're obviously milking the series now at this point. If they do another part after this like that, I'd be like, okay, come on, I'm just gonna wait until you're done, because you're milking the shit out of it, because there's no excuse for that. Why? Okay, when people do cores, it's because they don't know if the series is going to take off,
or they're splitting the production load, because it's like we can't do all 26 right or 22. We can't do all 22 right now, but let's give us a month in between.
This is Wit Studio.
Still,
this is
they did
Wit
like
Studio.
Titans on Trains and all this other stuff they're working on too.
Like literally, they don't have any other series going right now. Yeah, they don't. I'm looking at it right now. They don't have any other series going right now. They have a potential series coming up this next season, but that's it.
Okay.
And this is Attack on Titan. This is like one of the biggest series. Like 10 years from now, people will still know about this series. This is a hallmark. Like this is when people talk about anime, you're gonna know about Attack on Titan. So to me, there's no reason to bog this down and drag it out. None. Every other series should be being put. If they have 10 other series franchise going right now, it's not as big as this.
Yeah.
This needs all the other ones, and in a business standpoint, all the other ones should be put on hold until we're done with this. Is the way I look at it.
Okay.
So anything else after this, if they continue it or if they cliffhang it and then go season 4, you're like, okay, come on, dude, come on. And you're like, in another year, we're gonna have season 4. It's like, come on, you're dragging this out. Stop it.
What I want to say is the only reason, like I'm gonna say it right now, the only reason I would accept a season 4 is if they go into the basement, they find out everything, and then they do something outside of the walls. Like if there's some kind of something that's happening outside of all the walls, like there's another colony or something like that. That's the only reason I would accept a season 4. If a season 4 does come out, just like you said, I don't even care. Like the hype has been dragged a bit far. I'm like, yeah, I'll give them the excuse of they wanted to take a core off to do this part because that wasn't part 1 like in winter. and then they took spring off, and then summer they have another core. I was like, yeah, that fits the formula of other studios how they've done it, so I accept this. But if they're like, okay, then we're gonna take another core off, and then we're gonna start another season, I'm like, no, like, why was this one 10? Like, like it's I'm at the end unless they bring some like go in the basement.
Yeah, how long have we been trying to go into the goddamn freaking basement since like season 1 years and years ago when the main character remembered about a basement? And he's going, hey, that seems important. Maybe we should go to the basement.
Yeah. So we shall see. In a month, actually. Yeah, so that is the first continuing show that we're talking about. I took a peek at the first episode, and it looks like it's building up to the finale because it ended with "and fight."
Mm-hmm.
The next show we're going to talk about. Oh God.
Or not.
Oh, I didn't put it in the right folder. Oh, no. Technical difficulties. Next show we're going to be talking about is
and then there we go.
Yeah, The Rising of the Shield Hero. I have not touched this one this season. I was gonna wait to the end.
Oh, it's getting so good. It just amps the frick up as it goes. There was a few episodes where it just kind of it took off, I think, to do more of just like backstory and character development. Okay. But beyond that, we have just continually amped this whole thing up, and I feel like, I feel like it's on par with Attack on Titan in that regards, because like we're answering questions, but the more answers we get, the more questions we have.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just like, okay, I want to know what's going on, but at the same time, it's just, we've.
Huh? Do you think they can wrap it up?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm on episode 20 right now, and they're going to 24, right? I want to say.
That would be the one to stop if they take a break.
Let's see, how many episodes? Oh no, they're going to 25 for some reason. They're doing an odd number, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, 24, 25, 26, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's like
yeah. Usually it's 24 though, but so I mean we still have 5 more episodes to go. It's a possibility that they can wrap it up in the last couple episodes, but I feel like there's gonna be more to it.
Good.
At this point, we kind of have all the heroes working together.
Finally.
But there's more things going on.
Okay.
They've met up with the queen of the Fiora, the actual queen.
Okay.
Who the one that he's traveling with is like now like the heir apparent or something like that, like a potential to be a queen kind of thing. And she left something very cryptic with the Shield Hero, saying that at some point during the waves, there's going to be a choice that is going to have to be made, and depending upon his choice, or depending upon the hero's choice, will depend upon what happens to the world. Yeah. Very cryptic in it. Very cryptic. I feel like she didn't want to give too much away because she wanted it to be a decision that he makes at that time.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no. Again, epic battles. He's doing more things with his shield now. It's like the other heroes are amazed about how much he can do with his shield because they can't do nearly as much with their weapons, but
Yeah.
they're also higher level than he is. So
Ah,
like they have the power, but he has the techniques.
yeah.
So I don't want to give too much away because this is definitely one I know you're gonna actually watch.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go in depth in like
But
a couple
I
weeks.
mean, oh yeah, no. When this is over with, we're gonna spend some time on this one. I know that for a fact. Um, because it's just oh my goodness, the characters, the storyline, the little hints that they keep leaving here and there about certain things. I mean, it's just this is definitely world crafting on a scale that I think others need to take note about. I think other people who are in a fantasy genre, it's like you need to be paying attention. If you're wanting to do a fantasy anime, pay attention to how they're doing these things. I mean, you can have different characters, but the fact that they have literally crafted this world in such a way that the waves themselves, the whole point of the heroes being here is almost secondary in a sense. Even though it's a main focal point, it is almost secondary. So, and even though we're 20 episodes in, we still don't know what the hell the point of these waves even are or why they even exist. Still don't know. And I'm okay with that. I'm still like, you can formulate as many hypotheses on everything as you possibly can. And it's just, the only thing I'm worried about is that we have such a buildup going on here that I'm concerned the ending is not going to live up to it. That's my only concern. Like we got 5 episodes left. We have this huge buildup, and I don't know. I honestly don't know how they're going to end it. If they do end it in 5 episodes, I don't know how they're going to do it. And I almost feel like if they do end it, then it might feel like a letdown. So we'll see.
Yeah, I can't. Ugh. It's gonna be good. But yeah, that is the last show we're gonna be talking about in this episode. This has been our initial thoughts for the spring season of 2019. We will be back. Let's see, how shall I phrase this? Normally, we'll be back in a month to talk about the next episode, which will be the upcoming anime for summer. But we are doing a double episode today, so the stream will end here, and then we will take like how long of a break?
Or like 30 minutes to an hour, I think.
Yeah, we'll take like 30 minutes to an hour, and we'll get prepped for the next episode, and then we will be back live. The next episode will be the upcoming thoughts. We'll be talking about the trailers that we checked out, and all the new anime that will be starting in a month. So, anyways, this is Big D and Shade for TacoYaki Anime. Like, thank y'all for watching. Thanks for hanging out in chat. Thanks for supporting the channel in any way that you do. And we will see y'all in an hour.